This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
This time last year, hockey in the UK changed forever. Adam Johnson passed away following an incident in an Elite League Challenge Cup game in Sheffield. The hockey community continues to send their love to Adam's family and friends, his teammates and everybody affected by the tragedy that night, including our friends at the Nottingham Ice Hockey Club here with us this evening. In remembrance and along with the hockey at all levels in the UK this weekend, we ask that you join in a minute of applause, 47 seconds, to remember the Nottingham Panthers, forever number 47, Adam Johnson. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
So very sombre welcome to Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. But the weekend just gone was the first anniversary of Adam Johnson's death at the Nottingham Panthers Sheffield Steelers game just over 12 months ago. Tributes at all games up and down the country, including, as you saw there, at the Forum on Sunday night ahead of the game against Nottingham Lions. Just before we get started, we've joined us always Carol and Jono are here. 12 months on from the tragedy in Sheffield, Carol, it's still being felt, repercussions and the legacy, the changes to equipment rules and things, but it's still being felt the 12 months on the impact of Adam Johnson's death.
Yeah, it's strange really because none of us knew him personally, but we kind of all feel like we did. It's absolute tragedy what happened, and unfortunately it's taken that tragedy for the way that we view safety equipment to change in the way it has, and all for the better. It's still hard to put into words what the emotions that Adam's death has stirred in so many of us. But it has brought about much needed focus onto the safety equipment that is available, that should have been used anyway, because why wouldn't you? Ice hockey is a high-paced, dangerous sport, played on skates with blades. Why would you not wear the safety equipment that's available to keep yourself safe? Now, until Adam's tragic death, there had been a few incidents involving skate blades before that, but none had ended quite this tragically. And it took that for the focus to come onto that particular area, and the fact that there was protection available, it just wasn't being used. And all of the changes that happened since, and the ones that are coming as well, are all for the better, and make our place safer.
Yeah, and as John, as we were saying before we started recording, the kind of at our level, it was kind of mandated fairly quickly. It came into force, I think, in the January after the incident had happened. But we were talking this in an article on the Athletic today, how the NIHL are still reticent to mandate, and those players, maybe there's a handful of players who are wearing the protection. It seems to be a kind of a hockey rite of passage. Once you reach 18, you take off your face cage, you take off your neck guard, and you're kind of good to go. And it seems kind of the wrong way around, that you're taking protection away from yourself at such a dangerous sport, as Carol said.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you have to wear it until you're 18, maybe a little bit older in one of the leagues in Canada, I believe, and they can't wait to get to an age to remove it. Like Carl said, why would you not want to wear it? I know it's mandated for obviously the upper half of the body now, but it should be on the wrists as well. These you see a lot of players with the shirts rolled up, and so you can see bare skin between the forearm and the hands, and it's get them covered up. You just don't know what or how something can happen. And yeah, the NHL has a big issue, and someone needs to stand up and say, no, guys, you've got to wear one. You've wore one before. You know it's not that bad. It's not that uncomfortable. Just get them on. Wear them. You've got family, kids, mother, father, brother, sister, son or daughter to go home to. Wear them.
Yeah. And let's obviously keep an eye and see what happens across the pond. But certainly, I say it was mandated in our divisions, and although mandated, we are still where players are still getting used to it and uncomfortable, but they're doing it because they know it's kind of the right thing to do. So, but as I say, the tributes, you saw them on social media up and down, all levels: elite league, our league, juniors, the women's leagues. Everybody was kind of marking the occasion and the love and the prayers to Adam's family, as was said in the piece, and everybody in Nottingham. Obviously, those players who have come back to Nottingham this year, just getting over it, and now it's come back again. So we think of them at this time as well, and just for their goodwill, and onwards and upwards it was. But yeah, it was good to mark it. Although we shouldn't really have had to mark it in that way, as it makes sense. For the rest of the show, as normal, as I say, there's the Billingham Stars podcast. Another 2 games for the Stars this past weekend. 2 wins, one on the road in Hull, and a home win over the Nottingham Lions there on Sunday night. So we'll talk about those 2 games. We'll do a usual roundup of the results and tables, look ahead to next weekend's 1 game weekend, and then a smattering of any other business, if there is any. But we'll start on Saturday night in Hull. And it was a quick return, 3 weeks from their last visit for the Stars, going down to Hull and facing the Jets. A slightly different kind of game, but at the end of the night, still 3 points coming home on the coach with the Billingham Stars. A 4-1 win, a scoreless first period, although Jacob had to save a penalty shot. And again, goals from Chris Sykes, Roland Gritans, and 2 from that man who can't stop scoring, Ian Brown. Britain, the only scorer for the Hull Jets, and 3 points on their way home. Carol, do you want to take this one? I say fixtures, the way they worked out, a quick return down to Hull Arena. They were obviously coming off a weekend off. They'd lost their previous 2 home games to ourselves and to Sheffield, so Hull were definitely up for it, and it kind of showed in that first period in particular.
Absolutely, it was a completely different game to the one that we played 3 weeks ago. That first period, they had us pretty much pinned in our own zone for certainly the first 5 minutes. It was like, what's going on here? It was really quite strange. I think they then started to get frustrated because they hadn't capitalised on all of that pressure. But they were still relentless, and they possibly felt a little aggrieved that they didn't come out of the end of that first period at least a goal up, as they probably deserved it. They definitely edged that first period. Kind of continued into the second, but you could see we were getting more and more into it. And I actually don't think it was that much of a surprise when we opened the scoring. I thought it was on the cards. And from the moment we scored those 2 quick goals, I know that Hull replied really quickly, but I actually didn't feel particularly nervous that they were going to come back at us. It was a different type of game. It had a different feel to it. But at the end of the day, I think we were just too willing to grind it out, and we just kept going. And you could see how frustrated the Jets were getting, and they kind of tried the tactic. They tried the last time we were there, and they tried to get a bit chippier, but that didn't work, and we just kept going, and there you go, Ian Brown back on the score sheet with another 2 goals to finish it off.
Yeah, no, it was, and actually made it down to Hull this time, so first time for a couple of years down to the chipspice.com arena, as it were. Jono, as Carol said, that first period, Hull had the edge, and they say they had the chances. They had the penalty shot, which was then followed by a 5-on-3, which was just Stars killed. But slowly, as Billingham came back into the game, scoring 2 goals in a quick succession, as we are wont to do, and second and third, particularly the second half of the second period, it wasn't really much in doubt the result.
Yeah, I think I saw the first period a little bit different. I thought we defended as a unit very well. I think I think Hull were going to come out strong. They had to come out strong due to the last game, and they're being well rested, and due to back-to-back home defeats as well, which is very unusual for Hull in Hull. That doesn't often happen very much. I think we just defended very well. There wasn't really any major clear goal scoring opportunities. Jacob wasn't that busy considering he had 10 shots to face. I think the biggest danger was the penalty shot, which he saved well. And I think the lads in front of him defended very well. We moved into the second period, and I think we took confidence of that they hadn't scored. And I think as a team, we had belief in going, yeah, we're going to go on and win this now. And as Carol said, though, the second period, we just grew in confidence. We started to shoot the puck a lot more, and the chances came. I think the first one came on a power play, and that was it. We were off. And once we went 1-0 ahead, I didn't ever see us looking back. As Carol said, again, we went 2-0 up. They scored quite a lucky goal, really. It was triple rebound, I think it was, ended up coming off his thigh or something going in. But that was against the run of play, and we just continued to put the pressure on and used our skill forwards, even though we had to reshuffle the lines with suspensions and players missing.
Yeah, I was going to say about the lines. I know Fozzie mentioned it in his post game on Big Red Machine Radio about the lines. The third line, kind of a rejigged line with Callum Wilkinson centering Sam Dowd and Rowan Mills, and they had more of a shutdown role. Obviously, Callum chipped in with an assist on the opening goal, but Callum played a really strong defensive role, kind of marshalling the two younger players in that shutdown role, and they did a job which enabled the top 2 lines to do what was needed. And I think Carol, you said Fozzie post game kind of respected the job Callum did to allow your likes of your Sykes and Rowley and Ian Brown, those lines to do what they needed to do at the other end of the ice.
Oh, very much so, and that third line does need a lot of credit for the way that they played. You've got Rowan and Sam as the 2 happy puppies on the wing. Just will go all night because they've just got the energy in those young legs, and they will chase everything down, absolutely everything. And then you've got Callum as the so-called old head in the centre. He's not old at all, but he just seems to be. Just being that kind of role model in the middle, and it seemed to work really well, and they did a job, and all credit to them for that. They really did chase down everything that they were asked to do from the first puck drop.
And at the back end, I know Ben got some plaudits as well for his performance, Jono, both at the defensive end, but jumping into the play and chipping it at the offensive end as well.
Yeah, Ben's a great defenseman, and I think he is a nightmare for forwards. I think he matched up against Richard Haggard quite a lot and Kieran Beat, which is no easy feat. But as we know, Ben's 6'6" at 17-year-old. He's got a stick to match, and it's tough to get around him. He's got a long reach. He can knock those pucks away, especially off the smaller forwards. That Beach and Haggard are, unfortunately for them, he made it a bit easier, and he managed them all night long. It was easy for him. And one thing that Ben does very well is he carries the puck forward from defense to offense very well, and he's got a great shot when he gets a chance to let it go as well.
Yeah. And a word about Ian Brown. We can't not talk about goals 16 and 17. The first one from the kind of a edge of the crease tap in, but then the second one kind of jumping into the play and roofing it from the edge of the crease. Both assisted by Sykes, and he's just we haven't talked about the streak for obvious reasons, but it does get mentioned in bits and pieces. But we've said it before. He came back with a chip on his shoulder. He felt he was unfairly stopped from playing last year because of injury, and he's come back with a point to prove. And 17 goals at this point, 17 goals in 10 games. He's proving that point fairly well, Carol.
He must be an absolute nightmare to play against, because let's face it, this weekend he was put on a different line. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he plays with. He links up fantastically with them. He doesn't particularly have a style of goal that he scores. He scores them from everywhere. He's always in the right place. He doesn't let go. He's chippy. He gets in people's faces. He must be a nightmare to play against. I'm so glad he's on my team, because look at how he's just rattling them in every game. He's just there, and he doesn't look like stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, no, and we'll talk about Sunday's game as well. He was involved in as a scorer and as a provider on Sunday. Anything else, John? Obviously, you mentioned the defense and kind of marshalling the back end. Anything else jumps out for you from Saturday before we move on to Sunday night?
No, on a whole, it was just a really good, really good road win. Like I said, we only got the one win in league play last year in Hull. We've won both games in the league now, and on the score sheet, they both look like dominant performances. Yeah, we had a tough first period on Saturday, but so we should. The Hull Jets are a good side, and they're on the home ice, and they don't ever lose there. But we defended very well, and I think that's the thing that impressed me most on the Saturday was how good the defense and Jacob played as a unit.
Yeah, no, and it was good to be part of the travelling Big Red Machine down there as well in the away block. Great travelling support, cheering the lads on from start to finish, and they certainly appreciated the support. I say a 4-1 win, and the points on the bus coming home to Teesside, and that's it for as far as the trips in the league to Hull go. After the cup knockouts or playoff games or what have you, that's it for the trips to Hull. We'll welcome them to Teesside later in the season, but we'll move on to Sunday night and the visit of the Nottingham Lions to the Forum Ice Arena. As you saw at the top, pre-game, the ceremony to remember Adam Johnson, and then it was into action. Almost a scoreless first. Nottingham's Isaac Ballinger doing a sterling job between the pipes, thwarting pretty much everything thrown at him until the last minute or so. Conor McNulty opening the scoring, and then in the second period, Rollins Gritans, James Moss, a quick-fire double from Chris Sykes, and then Nottingham scoring just before the buzzer to make it 5-1 at the end of the second. And then the third period, Ian Brown getting on the score sheet at the goal end. He had already chipped in with a couple of assists by then. And then another 2 from Chris Sykes in a couple of minutes. That's 4 for Sykes. Matthew Bell getting his second for Nottingham after Jack Wakefield had come in between the pipes for the last 10 minutes or so. And then to finish things off, 5 minutes from time, James Helens, another chip in from the blue line. 9-2 your final. 58. No, they won 58. 57 shots to 38 for the Nottingham Lions. So Stars comfortably outshooting their visitors. Although there were 18 shots on the Stars net in the third period, because we had like a 5-minute 5-on-3 to defend when we put Jack in net, which was nice for the young lad. Give me start, and we'll just play with 3 players just to make it fun. Nottingham, they were without. I was all set to talk to Matt Bradbury about working with an experienced pro like Aleš Padlek, and then it was his jersey retirement night in Peterborough, so he wasn't there. So, Jono, do you want to start? It was a dominant on-ice performance, and it was a bit of a throwback to kind of Lions games of old.
Yeah, it started out as a very feisty first period, end to end. Both teams finishing the hits, both teams skating well with the puck, both teams creating, I say, a lot of chances. I believe we outshot them quite well, but Nottingham attacked wave after wave after attacks, just not getting many shots away. So again, the defense standing up top again. But yeah, the Stars just kept knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking, and the netminder just made save after save. And he just weren't even just saves into his chest. He was kick saves, leg saves, and blocker saves. He was having a great first period, and then just somehow towards the end of the period, Connor finds a way to get that goal, and it probably does dent the confidence a little bit right at the end of the period. Because I think if they go into that end of the first 0-0, they come out the second period with a lot more jump, but it just wasn't to be. We squashed them very early in the second period, and the goal started to roll.
Yeah, and scoring in bunches as we've done for quite a while now, the last couple of years. Goals 2 and 3 were 10 seconds apart. Goals 4 and 5 were, does the math, 16 seconds apart. So scoring quick fire like that, and we've said it before, when particularly goals 2 and 3, one was Rowley's breakaway backhand into the top corner, and no goalie was ever going to stop that, regardless of Isaac Ballinger or anybody else. That was the toppest of top shelves. And then Mossy straight after that, 10 seconds, and then Sykes' pair, again, just 16 seconds apart. Once we get on a roll like that, we've said it before, but quite a scary offensive team, Carol, the Billingham Stars, when they're in that kind of mood.
Yeah, the first period we weren't quite as clinical, and yeah, Ballinger was doing his stuff between the pipes to deny us, but we weren't really giving him those quality shots. And then once Connor gets one to open the scoring, it's like somebody's flicked the clinical switch, and suddenly we're straight back at, we look like we're going to score with every attack. Yeah, I mean that Rowley goal was ridiculously good. Very, very pretty. But he is a kind of specialist with the pretty goals. But yeah, you look at that second period and you think, yeah, that we'd suddenly turned it back to where we'd been in previous games, where we were finding those corners, we were finding the slots in Ballinger's defence, and yeah, it was pretty to watch. And then you go into the third period, and we're continuing with that clinical nature. And it really did seem to get to the Lions somewhat. They started to get quite antsy and a little bit chippy and a little bit not happy, basically. Things said from the bench, things said to the crowd. Yeah, they didn't like being embarrassed, and to a certain extent in the third they were. And yeah, it was all going to end not well, but we'll gloss over that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the ending in a minute. I was gonna go on to third period. Ian Brown finally gets his goal in the first minute, and Ian had been kind of set up for some harsh treatment by the Lions. He was kind of they were playing him fairly physically. There was a couple of hits. There was a hit to the head which was called as a minor. Could have been something a bit more, but we'll again, it was just the way it was called on the night. But Ian got his goal, and then Sykes got another two fairly quickly. And as Carol says, John, that kind of, I don't know if it upset them and thought they were running up the score, but there was no, from where I was, there was no element of running up the score. They just scored the goals that were there. If we wanted to run up the score, we would have run up the score.
Yeah, I mean, look at the firepower we have. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you want to annoy this team, this Stars team, and you want to start taking liberties, they will embarrass you in any way possible. Granted, we were 5 or 6-1 up, and a bit of the Harlem Globetrotters comes out. After all, it is an entertainment business. The lads want to entertain a big crowd. So, yes, some of the nice players come out. The pretty players were coming out. But there was nothing against Nottingham and nothing that they did. But the more that they got chippier, and the more that the hits got higher or a bit later, the Stars just turned it up a little bit. They never retaliated. They just turned it up a little notch and go, if you want to do it, we'll do it this way. And luckily for them, they never went full, because if they went full on, I think we could have been looking at another Blackburn Widnes from the other week, and they really could have really embarrassed them then.
Yeah. So 9-2 the final. Stars extend their lead at the top of the division. We have to talk about the finale in the handshakes. People have seen across social media. We've got to be careful. Obviously, this is an official club outlet, so we know at the end of the game, 2 players from Nottingham, Jordan Wright and Owen Davis, and 2 players from Billingham, James Moss and Darren Statusfield, were pinged with 5 in game for fighting after the buzzer. So that's going to be looked at automatically by DOPS anyway. They've had the footage of the incident in the handshakes. So as far as Stars are concerned, it happened. It was regrettable. We'll just wait and see. While it's a live DOPS incident, can't really say too much. We'll see later this week what transpires. Any thoughts you want to add, or we just kind of?
It was just pretty much what you said there. Like, obviously we can't go into it like we would want to, but we could probably certainly talk about it a little bit more next week once we know what's what. Like I said, we're in the hands of DOPS. We know what they're like. We've just got to sit with our fingers crossed, and hopefully it's, well, they're kind to us, really.
Yeah. Well, I say the penalties after the buzzer. Mossy and Statusfield getting 5 in game. Ben got a 10-minute misconduct. 2 guys from Nottingham. So fighting after the buzzer is kind of an automatic suspension anyway, because it's not.
Like, I think we already know about them. I think
5 minutes earlier it's fine, but now the buzzer's gone. It's
fans shouldn't be shocked to hear about what comes for James Moss and Darren Statusfield. That's automatic. But we can only see what comes for the rest.
But yeah, the videos is in of the whole incident, and we'll wait and see. Back end of the week is normally when the clubs get to hear of any decisions. So we'll, as Jono says, we'll talk about them more next week when we have the decisions to mull over. But in terms of the game itself, I say a great win, a great fancy dress night as well. The supporters club, we'll talk about that, Jono. We had our hockey ween. The fans came out in fancy dress. We had our 2 winners, Edie and Jessica, I think it was. That's off the top of the head. That's impressive on a Tuesday.
Well done. Remembering
something from 2 days ago. But yeah, they presented man of the match eventually, and but no, the fancy dress was great, and a successful promotion from the supporters club, Jono.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We asked our fans to dress up and would give them a little prize. Obviously, the prize was to present man of the match. It's a nice little thing for them to have, a little memory from the games. And to be fair, the fans pulled out some of the stops. There was some absolutely fantastic dress ups, should we say. A lot of pictures were taken, so they should be on social media now from the guys who run the accounts. So if you're on them, tag yourselves in them. But like I said, just a massive thank you to the fans who did dress up and take part.
Yeah, I know that the Stars Facebook page in particular had a gallery, Carol, so people can have a look on there. Our supporters club might share that as well. But certainly, if you search the Billingham Stars Facebook page, you can see all of the fancy dress outfits. So great stuff from the fans getting involved, and result-wise, a fantastic performance. So we'll wait and see what else transpires. But in terms of on the ice, great stuff from the Billingham Stars, and I think that's seven wins in a row now after the Solihull defeat. So motoring along at the top, which is a nice segue to look at the results and tables in the NIHL North Division 1 after week 9, 26th and 27th of October. Thanks to our friends Joe Scutts at NIHL Stats. Point your browser nihlstats.wordpress.com. Stats, results, fixtures, tables, and the weekly box score bulletin that he does for all 4 regional divisions. It's got the scores in summary, the league tables, but then a detailed breakdown of each game. Well worth a read. I say a statos and a podcaster's delight to have this to read on a Monday and a Tuesday. I think they're actually up on Monday evening this week, which is fantastic. So Great stuff from Joe at NIHL Stats. So quickly through the results from the weekend. On Saturday, Sheffield 2, Blackburn 12. That was at the Bauer Arena. Hat-trick for Crawley, 2 for Barnes, 2 for Sporforth, Watson, Royds, Jerenox and Riddick, scorers for Blackburn, Thacker and Fall for Sheffield. Hull 1, Billingham 4. That's not even a tongue twister, but obviously we know about that one. And the other result from Saturday, a rare Saturday night at Hillheads. It was Whitley Warriors 4, Teesside Dragons 6. The first of a home and home for those two. Whitley scorers Callum Queenan, Dean Holland, and 2 for Kyle Ross. For Teesside, Simpson, Dickinson, Phillips, and a hat-trick for Jakob Hayek. No goals for Jake Wachowski. We probably had like 17 assists or something like that. On to Sunday, and the return fixture, Teesside 7, Whitley Warriors 2, Kennedy, Witkowski, Clancy, 2 for Dickinson and 2 for Hayek. And for the Warriors, Adam Wood and Callum Queenan, their goal scorers. Billingham 9, Nottingham 2, as we know. Solihull Barons 7, Sheffield Scimitars 2. Barons back to winning ways at home. 7-2 over the Sheffield Scimitars. Solihull's goals, Webb, Otterson, Phil Mulcahy with 2, Race, Challenge and Daniel Mulcahy. And Pelling and Cutts, the scorers for Sheffield. Widnes Wild 1, Hull Jets 3. Great performance from the Widnes Wild, their best result in a losing cause this season. A late third period from Ethan Daintith putting a seal on a Hull Jets road win as they bounce back from the home defeat on Saturday. Kent, Hagger and Daintith for Hull. Virostek from Widnes, another one of the Solway development players on loan to Widnes Wild. And the final game of a full Super Sunday, all 10 teams playing 5 games on the schedule on Sunday. Blackburn shutting out the Leeds Knights. Blackburn 4, Leeds 0. 2 for Aaron Davies, Riddick and Mayo also on target for Blackburn. So the league table as of Sunday night. So Billingham 11 games, 30 points. Teesside 10 games, 24 points. Hull Jets 11 games, 23 points. Blackburn 11 games, 21 points. Solihull Barons 10 games and 17 points. Warriors 9 games, 16 points. Nottingham also 9 games, they have 12. Leeds Knights have played 10, they have 7 points. Sheffield have played 12, they have 3 points. And Widnes Wild 9 games, still without a point. But that result may be a sign of things to come for the Widnes Wild. We'll quickly do our cup group. Things have moved on in that division. Teesside now have 5 wins and 1 loss for 15 points. They're head with Whitley were both cup games, so they're top 15 points. Billingham, the Nottingham game was a cup game as well, so 4 wins from 4. They have 12. The Warriors have 3 wins and 2 losses. They have 9 points. Nottingham are 2 and 3. They have 6 points. And Sheffield, as we said last week, have played all of their cup games, and they are bottom and excluded from the next round. Anything from the results and tables? Carol, do you want to kick off?
Yeah. Watch out, league. Here comes Teesside. Looks like they're from reports and watching Joe Scutts' little box scores. It looks like they're going to go with a stacked first line, and that is some first line. It's paying dividends big style. I do understand that Whitley were without Edgar on Sunday, but regardless, Teesside are looking like a force to be reckoned with. So I think the rest of the league probably needs to sit up and take notice there. As for the rest of the results, there was nothing there that really stood out as being particularly shocking. Sheffield getting absolutely stuffed by Blackburn probably wasn't that healthy. Widnes ran Hull very close, and I don't know if anybody's had a chance to listen to the Widnes podcast, but for my sins I did, and it sounds like they were very happy with the improved performance that they put in on Sunday. So perhaps there's some glimmers of recovery there, which would be, it's always good for the league when you've got like 10 teams that are playing relatively well. It's never good when you've got people getting battered every week. So hopefully Widnes are starting to show signs of improvement, just not too improved for this weekend.
Not just this weekend, no.
Yeah.
Jono, that top line, we're talking the Teesside top line before we started recording. Hayek and Witkowski have both got 13 goals and 12 assists. And Ross Kennedy, only 5 goals, but he has 25 assists, pairing on with Jakob Hayek and Jake Witkowski. And as Carol says, they're on a hell of a run as well since we last saw them. And are they the ones to watch at the top of the division?
Without a doubt. I mean, even on their bad days, they've got Jake Witkowski, which is just mental. He's a game winner. We always say there's no one man that makes a team, but he's turned that whole organisation round in a heartbeat. As soon as they announced that he was signing there, obviously they brought Simpson in as well, who's a handy player that we seen up at Whitley Bay last year for a few games that he played. But yeah, the Dragons are still not their netminder or defensively. They haven't decided to put Kennedy and Dickinson back in defence. They've kept them up top, and they're just going to score goals. So we'll see what happens. What I will say, though, is we do have a very good shutdown line, and they're going to have to be on it when the teams meet very shortly.
Yeah. No, and the Teesside are coming up in sometime in November, I think we see them.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look at the November fixtures, maybe in depth next week. In terms of this weekend's fixtures, we'll quickly go through those, and then we'll talk about our game coming up. Saturday, Sheffield play Widnes at the Bauer Arena, and Leeds Knights host the Whitley Warriors on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, just 4 games this weekend. Whitley versus Solihull, a nice little tasty one up the road at Hill Heads. Billingham Stars versus the Widnes Wild. Blackburn versus the Hull Jets. That's a League and Cup. And also the League and Cup at Nottingham on Sunday at 7:20 brackets ish, close brackets. Nottingham versus Teesside on a Sunday night at the NIC. So the Billingham Stars, as we say then, Widnes Wild coming up to Teesside. We've played them down there earlier in the season, and as has been the case a few times this season, teams are just kind of finding their feet, finding their form just ahead of a game against the Billingham Stars. So, what are we going to expect on Sunday, Jono, from the Widnes Wild?
I'd like to see that there'll be plenty of hard work from them, because fortunately the skill level isn't quite there for them, so they do have to work very, very hard for anything and everything that they get. So I fully expect a very hard working team. What you will see is, they do have a few young Scottish lads who are very, very hungry, and they will want to show off their talents as much as anything. So yeah, a very hard working team I fully expect, and with a few hungry youngsters on the roster as well.
Yeah. And as far as the Stars on Sunday, Carol, whatever roster we can put out, that those guys have to be ready to go from the puck drop. We've said it numerous times. There is no you're only playing X team this week, so it's an NIHL North 1 team, regardless of where they are in the league. We need to be ready at puck drop on Sunday.
Yeah, we've been saying this every single week. If you don't prepare, fail, because you're gonna. We keep talking about banana skins, and honestly, any team can be a banana skin in this league. And Widnes really did do a good job on Sunday. I didn't expect it to be that close. And like I say, I was listening to their coach after the game, and he seemed very happy with how that was. He saw it as a real progression. So we have to be ready for whatever comes. And yeah, we don't actually know at this point what our roster's going to look like. So who knows? We're almost certainly going to have to mess about with the lines again, and we just need to make sure that when we're on both of our practice sessions this week that we're kind of prepared for that, because who knows what's coming our way. There's rumours of signings in the offing again. It's always Northwest, isn't it? So we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and see who comes up. But in terms of the division, like you said, Carol, we want a strong Widnes because the league's only as strong as its weakest team. So we want a strong Widnes competing week in, week out. Maybe it's after Sunday, but we'll see what happens on Sunday. But the guys will be ready, I'm sure. Fozzie and the coaches will have them ready to go come Sunday night. We'll obviously find out later in the week any repercussions from Sunday just gone.
So I will say as well,
yeah.
I know obviously we've got to be very careful of Widnes, but I think Widnes have got to be very careful of us as well. Widnes played a great game last weekend and shouldn't come in too confident. We're going to be a bit scarred from last weekend. We could be backs against the wall to a point with a roster, and that could make us very, very, very more dangerous. There's 3 lines there that scores a lot of goals, scores a lot of points. And when our back's against the wall, I think we can be just as dangerous as anybody. So I think we can't discredit ourselves too much.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a good point. We'll be ready to go with whoever's ready. And as we've seen this season already, Billingham score goals in bunches and in good numbers. So we'll hope that continues on Sunday night. It's 5:30 at Forum Ice Arena. Billingham Stars versus the Widnes Wild. I hope you can join us for that one. Just before we bring things to a close, do we have any other business to attend, Jono? What's the supporters club? It's October's done now, so we'll be kicking off the vote for October Star of the Month.
Yeah, we've got that coming. So watch out for your emails for the members to get you voting for your player of the month. I wonder who that could be this month. We'll see. But got lots of cool stuff coming. Our Christmas raffle actually starts this Sunday because obviously we are getting close to that good old big lad coming down the chimney. So yeah, lots of Christmas raffles. Tickets are going to be available. Any businesses out there that want to donate prizes or get in touch and see about some sort of prizes, please do get in touch. We have a couple of pieces of new merch coming. Can't say nothing yet. Hopefully we can confirm something by Thursday and let you all know. Definitely by the next pod, I would have thought.
Sounds good. Any other Star of the Month vote is only exclusively for Supporters Club members. So if you haven't joined up already, you've missed your chance for October, but still a chance for the rest of the season. So see the guys and girls at the Supporters Club table. From our side, Carol, we had Darren's playlist seemed to go down quite well on Sunday. It was a Wenger boys accepted. It was a good tune. Darren was buying into the spirit of thing really well. So we'll find out who our latest volunteer is this coming week. And obviously we've had the usual output from the Big Red Machine Radio double bill on Saturday night. We had both coaches talking to you post game. We had Fozzie on Billingham Stars TV on Sunday, and we'll have hopefully goals from the Nottingham game sometime later this week as well. Anything else from our side? We'll be training, find out who's playing maybe.
Yeah, I think who's playing might be the big one. We'll all be looking out for that new lineup graphic on Sunday, I think. But yeah, Darren's playlist might be my favourite so far. Just for the
only because you know them.
Dance. Oh, because I knew them. That's a great point. And the other point was dance cheese is always good. Who doesn't love the Wenger boys? All right, smart.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good to say that the boys like it, which is the main thing, gets them going for the game. So yeah, and come Sunday, I said the lineup graphic. If I'm having to use text like this big, there's an issue because we've got like 6 players and anyway.
Bring your skates on Sunday. You might need them.
We shall see. But yeah, so that's just one game weekend. Sorry.
So get Kieran to open the shop on Sunday. It might be needed. Loads of new gear.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll do you a good deal on a rental pair even, just for Sunday night. So just the one game for your Billingham Stars this weekend. Widnes Wild on Sunday at the Forum Ice Arena, 5:30 face-off. Doors around 4:30. Tickets on sale from the box office as you come into the Forum. Do hope you can join us for that one. We'll leave it there for this edition of Starcast. Number 11 is pretty much done and dusted. Your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Thank you to Carol as always.
Thank
and
you.
To Jono.
Always
Look for your stick to the pod later this week, where you may be able to see a bit more than you have tonight. But thanks to you both for your contributions as always. We'll see you at the game on Sunday. Hope you can join us as well here on Starcast, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.